Hello duelists and welcome to another episode of This Month in Master Duel. My name is Ed and I'm joined once again by my wonderful Konami co-host Ibris. Ibris, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Ed. Very happy to be here with you to present this show, of course. This Month in Master Duel, 1000 Days Edition.
1000 Days Edition, a very exciting thing for us, and obviously we have our new background here to illustrate that, and our on-brand pink theming, Ibris. We didn't just throw this together this month.
Yeah, unfortunately, neither of us had anything light blue in the wardrobe to coordinate further, but, you know, we made an effort.
That was the one thing we were discussing this in DMs before, like, so bring your blue suit. And I went, I don't have one. So we're just going to both have to be pink. So you guys know how this show works. If you don't, and this is your first time watching This Month in Master Duel, allow me to explain. We go through everything that's coming up this month in Master Duel with the things that you see beneath us. Our schedule, we're going to talk about the 1000 Days campaign. We're going to play our usual Guess the Percentage. We've got to talk about a new selection pack. We've got some fun with the guests who are coming on later on. And also we talk about our secret packs as well. So an action-packed show, Ibris.
Very much so, of course. That 1000 days being celebrated across a variety of things that we'll go into more detail on in a second. And of course, the new cards coming out today as well.
I know, plenty to discuss, and that's what this show is all about. Now, the first thing that we typically do on this show is I test Ibris with a 60-second challenge to sum up what we've just had and what is coming up. So, Ibris, you ready?
About as ready as I'll ever be, yeah.
That's all we can ever ask for, Ibris. Okay, I'm going to pretend to look at my watch, and your time starts now.
So October was actually pretty exciting in terms of what we had, because we had multiple packs come out. We had, at the start of the month, the Outlaws from the Inferno, which of course had the essentially competitive environment defining Tenpai Dragon and Ritual Beast themes, both of which are absolutely flourishing, especially in the higher ranks of Rating Duel. In addition to that, you had Tricky Reception, that fantastic Halloween-themed pack with the all-new monsters, Hallow, the Spirit of Tricks, and Ween, the Spirit of Treats. We also had a Halloween event that did support those. We also had the Dual Triangle event. Of course, if you favor a particular summoning strategy, that was the event for you. Secret pack, the most dangerous race of the cosmos, which is Gold Pride themed?
It was Gold Pride, yeah. That means you have managed to get that done with only 0 seconds remaining.
I had other stuff.
I know, but you've managed to get through some of the good stuff. So the one you did mention, which I really enjoyed, was the Halloween-themed stuff that we basically had.
Yeah, basically just having that big event, debuting the new cards where you could borrow decks that featured them. Really cool, actually. And now, that was a very specific event, but something that does apply to the more general gameplay is the FNL list that we got an update to.
That is true. So we've had a couple of things go up from being forbidden all the way to unlimited. So first off, Silver Warlord of Dark World, now up to 3 Ibris.
Yeah, Silver, of course, being a consistent way to access discard, and of course disrupting your opponent's hand is a valid strategy to win with, and oftentimes you can find yourself reduced to 1 or 2 options from the get-go if the Dark World player is going first.
That's true. Now this next card almost feels like a sort of foreshadowing for something that we're going to be talking about later. Another card going from forbidden to unlimited, Gandora X, the Dragon of Demolition.
So Gandora X, the Dragon of Demolition, is really cool because it does let you have an out to whatever is the strongest monster on the field at the time of its summoning. It also inflicts damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster. So basically, you will ideally destroy the strongest monster on the field, then deal a specific amount of damage. But because it's original attack now, it does mean that you're pretty much gatekept by whatever the original amount printed on the card would be. So yeah, it won't deal game deciding amount of damage, but still enough damage that you'll be in a pretty favorable position.
Oh, absolutely. And it's definitely, like I said, an interesting tease for stuff that we'll be discussing later on. But something that you teased briefly, and that is technically teased behind us, that is the 1000 days anniversary. And what an exciting time to have been a part of Master Duel for 1,000 days, Ibris. 1,000.
Yeah, the game has come a long way. 1,000.
1,000?
The game has come a long way since then, of course. The evolution of the decks that we're seeing, the cards that we're seeing, players getting more comfortable with a variety of strategies. We've even seen it come to the World Championship now.
For the first time, and now second time as well.
Being played as a team competition. There's a lot of new things that have come to Master Duel since it did launch 1,000 days ago. And it continues to just do great things. And hopefully the audience continues to just enjoy that.
I hope so. And so if you guys want to take part in that, if you log in now, you can get 1,000 gems to celebrate the 1,000 days. You can even get a Rescue Rabbit icon simply by logging in, but also a very exciting accessory bundle, Ibris.
Yes, indeed, you can get a very exciting accessory bundle, which is themed around the evil twins that we see behind us.
So we need to take a look at that. Absolutely. Let's have a quick look at what we've got here. So we have ourselves a wonderful card protector there, a deck case, and a duel field, which that duel field is amazing. I love how that looks.
Yeah, the duel field looks really intriguing in-game, just a lot going on with it, and it looks fantastic once you have it applied. And of course, the card protector, the deck case, and the profile icon joining those. Really, really cool.
Really cool. I'm very excited to get my hands on the duel field, actually, just because I really like the evil twin aesthetic that you see in some of like the animations that we've seen, and also just in the cards in general. So I'm quite excited to see that. But we also have quite another interesting graphic to show you guys as part of some usage for the last 1,000 days in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So celebrate 1,000 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel with Sengenjin.
Sengenjin is so cool. It is about as original as you can get within the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sphere. Of course, just really, really prominent monster. He is the Millennium Golem, basically, and that's why Millennium 1,000, 1,000 days. There's a lot going for it there, and of course across these 1,000 days, duelists have generated this card 42,293 times as of Wednesday, October 16th, 2024.
And across the 1,000 days, duelists added this card to their decks and dueled 160,678 times. And look at the size of that total number of Sengenjin cards that are currently owned in Yu-Gi-Oh!
How many do you have, Ed?
I think I have probably about 9,000 of them, but over 2 million is a staggering amount, and what a thing to be celebrating with the 1,000 days. So through our socials and things, if you guys have any memories that you want to share from those 1,000 days, do let us know, because it is an incredible amount of time to be celebrating.
An incredible amount of Sengenjins as well.
That is very, very true.
Yeah, no, genuinely really, really happy to be with Master Duel 1,000 days in. We really love the game and hope that you guys do too, of course. Lots of stuff to be claimed by logging in today, and of course this accessory bundle as well is really, really cool.
Very cool indeed, so make sure you guys do log in and get your hands on that. Now, Ibris, it's time for that part of the show that I thoroughly enjoy, where it's me testing you on things. You know what I'm going to say. It's the Guess the Percentage, and I will say, for people who've seen this show before, and they know one of the cards I usually ask, I think you'll be quite surprised by the percentage that we've got in here. So, are you ready to guess some percentages?
I think so. Why have you leaned back?
Because I don't want you to see my card that has the percentages written on it, Ibris, because this is quite accurate. Now, I'm gonna maybe help you out with some of these here so that you don't get too lost in them. But are you ready for our first one?
Yes.
Okay. Your first guess the percentage. Guess the percentage of Quibelt, the Blade Dragon.
So I know for a fact this gets played a little bit in Tenpai Dragon.
I'll give you a rough ballpark because you're right, but it's under 20%.
Okay.
So that I'm just helping you narrow it down, but I want you to try and get it as close to the decimal point as you can.
Then I'll say 17.1% for Quibelt, the Blade Dragon.
That was a staggeringly close one, and I'm going to give you that because you are half a percentage away. It's 16.6.
Oh.
You said 17.1, so that is 0.5 of a percent away. So I'm actually very impressed, Ibris, straight off the bat. So talk to us a little bit about Quibelt, the Blade Dragon.
Yeah, again, just being another synchro monster that the Tenpai strategy can go into. towards the lower end of things in terms of the levels. So if you want to climb into the Sung Empire Transcendent Dragon later for the full commitment, you can. This is just another option to take you there.
Now, let's go into your second one. Quite a useful card. Forbidden Droplet.
Yeah, Forbidden Droplet, of course, being super, super good against the likes of your U-Bell decks, just offering a way to kind of nullify a lot of the disruption that would otherwise come your way if it's already established on the field. We saw it make the difference in many a Tailorments mirror matchup as well, on that highest level or in those rating duels as well.
I'll tell you now, I'll give you a bracket. This is between 40 and 50%.
So I would probably put it around 43.4.
I forget that we're having to go so specific, so it feels like you're just pulling these
you
out.
asked me for a... Yeah,
that is true. So the actual answer...
46.7.
40.9.
Oh, wow, okay.
So a bit lower down than you were expecting.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's get into our third one. Sangen Summoning.
So I mentioned how Kui Belt was a good tech option for the Tenpai. This is definitely a much needed component of the Tenpai Dragon deck. Of course, being a way of essentially starting things off for this deck.
I'm going to give you another ballpark.
20 something?
No. So it's between 35 and 40%. It's anywhere between there.
The fact that this is purely for Tenpai goes to show how popular and dominant that deck has been, that a card so integrally locked to that strategy is so popular.
Right, now this is all good, but
37.3.
35.7, so I can't give you that. But still a very good guess. So we've only got two more. So your next one, quite an iconic card here, Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon, what would you guess is the current percentage of this? A card that was forbidden at one point back in the day.
So I know this is a card that you play at least.
I've certainly played this, absolutely.
That field destruction effect, of course, being super, super valuable, especially if you can get this off at a crucial time. Really, really impactful. I wouldn't expect to be played too much these days, if only because 7 is kind of an awkward number to get to for a lot of decks now in terms of synchro summoning. It's a big resource investment. Yes, having access to a field clear in your extra deck is really valuable because you can effectively have it come out at any time you want.
Yes.
You're not giving me a range for this.
Would you like a ballpark?
Yes.
It's between 30 and 35%.
That's actually more common than I would have
way more
thought.
than I thought as well.
I'd put it at 32.3.
32.8.
Okay.
That was an
Close.
astoundingly good guess. You've got within 0.5% on two of those.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, last and certainly not least, the one everyone looks forward to, and I'm not even going to give you a ballpark for this one. What is the percentage usage of Max C?
So you mentioned that it's maybe not as
Not as
we
high,
thought.
not as high as before.
90 plus was always the way we were going.
I think last time it was in the 94% range. Yeah, or around there.
I think it maybe
fluctuates
fell
every month.
Slightly. So
Possibly slightly. So I think, 93, 94% last time.
I'd still put it around like 91, 92. Granted, a lot of deck. Why are you shaking your head?
Because it's lower.
Okay, a lot of decks do play through it pretty reliably now. I'll just put it at 90% then.
84.1%.
Wow.
So firstly, incorrect. But secondly, quite interesting, because that's the lowest it's sunk in the
Drastic
whole time
drop-off,
we've done.
yeah.
That is a drastic drop-off. Almost a 10% usage drop-off.
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
astounding. But
okay.
actually, I'm very impressed, Ibris. I think you actually had some really good guesses in there.
Thank you. I was very grateful to be able to talk about Forbidden Droplet among other cards.
Absolutely. Now, there's plenty of stuff that we've talked about already, including that 1,000 days promotion. So make sure you guys do log in. But let's take a quick look at a little product video for that campaign. And that was the 1000 Day campaign, and quick little teaser there of our new selection pack, Geas of the Light. But before we jump into that, to discuss that, we are joined by two wonderful guests here in the studio today, live via satellite. Emre, we have got you as well, and we've got Ben K for the first time. Emre, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be back again.
We're always pleased to have you. Always pleased to have you, mate. And our new guest as well.
Yeah, really happy to see Emre, but also we have Ben K for the first time. Ben K, how you doing?
Doing very good. Appreciate being here.
No, we're really grateful to have you, of course. Had the opportunity to speak with you at the World Championship this year. Both of you, of course, attending on different teams. Emre, of course, being part of Snipe Hunters, and Ben K being a member of Rogue Rulers.
So guys, this is all part of your 1000 days, basically. Over the last 1000 days that the game has been available, you guys have gone from, you know, just sort of casually playing to heading to the World Championships. So, Emre, let's start with you first. In fact, no, I'm going to start with Ben K because this is your first time on the show. Ben K, tell us what your experience of the last 1000 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has been like.
I started playing Master Duel right away when it was released, and I was very happy that we finally got the chance to play online, play with the card pool that we all know, and play with everybody worldwide. Finally got the chance to play against people from Japan, just as against people from Brazil or America. It was really great. And of course, after some time taking the game more seriously, getting more success in it, finally going to the World Championship this year was just an insane experience for me.
I mean, it's the thing every duelist aims for, Ibris, is get that world title.
Exactly that, and a duelist that does have a world title, actually the first Master Duel world title. I see him smiling to himself here, because who else could it be? Well, it could be his two teammates as well, to be fair. Quantal and Josh, you know, big fans of both of them. But Emre, thanks for joining us. Tell us a bit more about your experiences, day 1 to day 1000 with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Yeah, so I think I downloaded Master Duel on the very first day when it came out. I was taking a break from the TCG during that point, but when I saw that there is a game on the PC to like play Yu-Gi-Oh! And with like a different card pool that you can play worldwide against, as Ben said, against people from the OCG, which was something that I always wanted to do. I felt like I have to download the game. I started playing. I got my first deck, and then just played rank all day.
What was that first deck?
The very first deck that I built was Grand Major OTK.
Okay. So, a savage way to start off your career.
Deck that doesn't really lose to Max C, and that was able to finish games quickly. And before we had Tenpai, I came up with that deck, and that was really fun to play.
Cool. And that sounds like a really interesting deck list, but as someone else who has a reputation for building some interesting deck lists, Ben K, I know that you spent some time helping Josh actually prepare for the Snake Eye Fire King matchups he mentioned to me at Worlds this year. You have a reputation for yourself for being really full of the innovation when it comes to bringing some more unconventional tech options or even decks as a whole to the table. Can you give us a bit more insight as to that?
Sure. I always loved breaking some rules of deck building and coming up with new decks, and maybe using decks that people aren't aware of that are very good actually. So I think one of the decks in Master Duel that I played for a while, that I was really excited when the support came out, was UA, Ultimate Athletes, I think. Which is completely under the radar, because it's not a top 3 deck, but I think it's actually very competent with the support wave that you got, I think, 1 or 2 years ago in Master Duel. And I had a lot of fun with that, and more success than people would have believed in the beginning.
What's the deck that you run most on Master Duel, would you say?
I think right now the decks that I run most are Snake Eyes Fire King and Centurion, because they're very good, and I had to practice them for the World Championships.
Yeah, I can imagine. So yeah, a lot of time being put into those. Ibris, can you guess my most used deck on Master Duel?
It would have to be dinosaurs, I'd say, but what kind of dinosaurs is the question? Because I was playing Dynamorphia for a good while there. What about you?
I've basically, well, before the Transcendosaurus package sort of came out, I was just playing the basic dinosaur one with some of the scrap engine as well. But now that Transcendosaurus is there, just full dinos. But enough about me. We have Geas of the Light selection pack to talk about with our two guests, which actually features some quite exciting sort of retrains of some classic cards, Ibris.
Yeah, not only do we have those, but we also have support that was much needed for themes that were otherwise a little bit feeling left by the wayside in terms of how the meta game was developing. You know, a lot of these decks did struggle to keep up with the instant just disruption available to a lot of other decks. So this gives more opportunities for insurance through additional play patterns and stuff like that, but also offers access to disruption that would otherwise not be available. A good point of disruption here is Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, of course, that featured card, the cover card of the pack. It has really, really great access to destruction and banishing effects. Does need a little bit of insurance against the likes of your Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, though.
It does. Now, gentlemen, obviously we know Gandora is sort of one of those sort of classic cards. Do you guys have any thoughts on Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction?
I actually played a bit with the deck in the TCG. I think the whole deck revolves around the Shining Sarcophagus.
It does.
It has a few more monsters that reference other monsters that were out before. And I think the playstyle is really cool because you can kind of play into a board. Mostly, I like to go second with the deck and try to bait out my opponent's interruptions. And then in the end, Gandora G hits the field. And most opponents won't know what it does and look at the card and see, oh, that card is really good because it destroys like probably all my cards and then even summons a monster from the deck.
Yeah.
So that is always a huge blowout.
Yeah, unfortunately going second, maybe you're competing with Tenpai a bit with the current state of things, but still very happy that you've managed to find a way to integrate this into your strategy, of course, with that Shining Sarcophagus that you mentioned. We do have some more cards in this pack, however.
We certainly do. Now, this is one of my favorite names of a card, actually, just because I really like it. So we got Flowering Etoile, the Melodious Magnificat. And I love this card. Just
based on the name?
Just based on the name. I think Melodious Magnificat is an amazing thing to be able to say with my face.
Yeah, so this card is actually loved by a lot of people for other reasons as well, including the fact that it is a consistent form of removal that does stay on the field. The sticking power of this is really good, and once it's out on the field, it does offer, again, just guaranteed disruption on behalf of the Melodious player. Emre, do you want to offer a little bit of insight into the Melodious strategy and how this card helps it?
Yeah, so the Melodious strategy can be played as its own deck and as an engine that you could splash in, for example, in Snake Eyes. Basically the engine kind of revolves around Ostinato, which is a fusion card. That it's not once per turn. It's a bit like Brandon Fusion. That gets your entire engine rolling. There are of course cards like Refrained or like other cards like Concerto, I believe, that also fusion summon and get your engine rolling. The Etoile is really strong because it's a non-targeting disruption, and I think the Melodious engine in general is really well placed right now. Because for example, you have cards like, I think it's called Aria, that cannot be destroyed by battle. So Tenpai naturally struggles against it. So if you have Aria on the board with like a way to like interrupt your opponent maybe once, I think you're basically surviving the battle phase, which will most likely win you the game. But yeah, as I said, you can also splash in the engine. You don't need to play the deck on its own. Ostinato is a great starter for like almost every deck, so I'm really looking forward to try them out on Master Duel. I saw them play in the TCG a few times, but I never got my hands on them, and hopefully I can play them soon.
All right, thank you very much, Emre, for explaining the Melodious theme to us. Now, Ben, I know you're also a big fan of this one, so why don't you tell us a bit more about what Flowering Etoile, the Melodious Magnificat, sorry Ed, I took that one from you.
Yeah, I can't believe you did this to me.
Does for this theme.
I think it's really cool that the new wave of Melodious support is finally coming to Master Duel, because the deck already showed in the TCG that it can definitely compete with Snake Eyes and the other decks in the meta. So, and the point about Flowering Etoile is that it adds a different access to the end board. It's a different way of disruption that no other deck really has, and I really like that because it just means every deck gets individual tools. So I think it's really cool that we get to play a new, different strategy.
Now, Speaking of cool, I'm quite excited about this next card, just because it's another retrain of a classic Ultimate Flame Swordsman. Now, this is a Fire Warrior, which I know that means you're happy about because of its Infernoble synergy.
Thank you. That was exactly my point as to why I like this card.
Snatched that from you. That's for taking the melodious thing.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Fire Warrior is pretty good, especially those that do play with the equipped spells, such as Infernoble, such as this entire theme. Have seen just how potent this can be thanks to the destruction available on a quick effect and the disruption through that can afford. It is a little bit susceptible to being disrupted, as fusion strategies tend to be, but I'm sure our guests can talk a little bit more about that on their behalf as well.
Benkei, talk to us a little bit about Ultimate Flame Swordsman.
I think it's really cool that Fire Warriors get a fusion boss monster after we had all the Infernoble cards being synchro based, and they got a big Link monster, I think, last thing.
Emperor Charles the Great. There he is.
But also having a fusion boss monster now means they have so many different tools and ways to play the deck, or like similar strategies. I think that's really interesting.
Always a nice thing to have. Emre, what are your thoughts?
First of all, I really like the design. It kind of looks like Flame Swordsman. It's the ultimate Flame Swordsman, so it's probably him. I like that it's a retrain of an old card, of a pretty iconic card. And the effect isn't too bad either. It's like, I think it's more of a going second strategy, where you summon him and just try to OTK your opponent. The effect kind of seems explosive. It pops a card, and if it's equipped to a spell card, you can double its attack. So maybe you can go for a game with just one Flame Sword.
Yeah, I think it benefits from the Phoenix Gear Blade as well. The equipped spell that lets you give your fire monsters and your warrior monsters a second attack during that turn's battle phase.
Very useful.
So yeah, again, as you correctly identified, just really impactful in that battle phase.
Now, we've got a couple more cards to go through from Gears of the Light. Next is Nightmare Apprentice.
Yeah, Nightmare Apprentice, of course, being effectively very similar to a reinforcement of the army, but it also provides an extra monster on the field. Level 6 does mean that you do have access to some of the higher level synchros if you want to go into that, but primarily illusion type decks have been all about that fusion mechanic. Emre, you're a big fan of the illusion deck. Could you please tell us a bit more about what this card does for it?
Yeah, so first of all, before the card came out, if you would have asked me if I could choose one card or design one card that would support the archetype, I would probably just design Nightmare Apprentice.
Wow.
It is so good. So first of all, it's a generic searcher for every illusion card. All you need to do is discard one card. It's a level 6, which is really important, as you said. Not for synchro summoning, but for XYZ summoning. So what you can do is, if you summon the Nightmare Apprentice, you get to search your an illusion card, which can be Kotal, which can be Sword Knight. And then you can go into your Chimera fusion. And you could, for example, use the Bear from it to mill a Master Tau to just get a body bag. And then you could overlay the Nightmare Apprentice and Chimera, which are both level 6, into Beatrice to even extend your plays. You just have to be aware that if you summon the level 6 Bear from it mandate monsters, that you're locked into fusion summoning once you use the effect. But if you get to play around that, you can make your XYZ play first and then use the effect of Bear from it to search 2 cards. I think the card is really great. As you said, I love the illusion archetype, and with this card, I think the deck can compete at the highest rank. For sure.
Which is very, very high praise indeed from one of the highest ranking Master Duelists ever.
Wow.
Now, Ben, same question to you. Thoughts on Nightmare Apprentice?
I think it's really cool. I'm always a big fan of cards that search, because I think every deck deserves to play in as many games as you can. I think nothing feels worse than opening your hand and not being able to play the game. So having a deck or having a card that just gives you the ability to search any card in your deck to be able to compete more is super cool. I think it's very good. It's good for the illusion archetype, and just helps you in whatever way you want to play your game, because you can search any illusion card.
Absolutely. Now we have one final card to be going through on this featured list, and that is Madolche Queen Tiara Phrase, Ibris.
Yep, Madolche Queen Tiara Phrase, of course, being effectively a quick effect version of the Madolche Queen Tiramisu, and just really, really powerful when it comes to offering an additional layer of disruption. It can also be made from the Tiramisu, so that means you can Xyz summon the Tiramisu, use the effect to disrupt your opponent, then Xyz into this, end your turn if you want, and then use this effect during your opponent's turn, because it's a quick effect, to offer an additional layer of disruption.
Ben, thoughts on Tiara Phrase?
I think it's really cool that this archetype got this kind of effect now as a, well, more or less endboard piece. Because I think Madolche was always known for having that Tiramisu, which was, when it came out, an exceptionally strong card, but was only be able to use going second into a board, because it was an ignition effect. And now we have Tiara Phrase, that is a very similar card, but it's a quick effect, right?
Yeah.
So you can use it on your opponent's turn. And I think that keeps the theme of the deck very well, but also makes it a lot stronger and it updates the deck basically to modern standards.
Now, Emre, same question to you. Thoughts on Madolche Queen Tiara Phrase?
I think Ben summarized it pretty well, that it's an endboard piece, which the deck was missing. I think you ended on like 1 or 2 traps after you've done your basic combo. What I also like is that since it shuffles back 2 Madolche cards from the graveyard, if you shuffle back monsters, you can special summon them with the spells. So it's not just getting your graveyard cards into the deck, you can also like establish a board, which is even more follow-up. I think this card is phenomenal. Tiramisu used to be very good back in the day, and this is basically just a better version.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We much appreciate you guys talking to us about all of these cards. Remember, you guys can get into the store and get your hands on Gears of the Light right now. And like we said, there's quite a lot of interesting cards in there that I'm sure a lot of people will start using.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the one that Emre and Ben did mention to us that was not in that featured selection was the Snake Eyes Diabellstar being
True.
A key part of many a strategy. Ben K, do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. I think Snake Eyes Diabellstar is a good, very good card for the Snake Eyes archetype, of course, because it, the Snake Eyes deck has a field spell that lets you place a Snake Eyes monster from the deck, and Snake Eyes Diabellstar can summon itself after being placed in the spell trap zone. So it's essentially another extender that the deck gets, and I think it's very cool because it ties into the theme of the deck very well, that placing monsters in the spell trap zones as spells. So I think that's very interesting. Also, it's typically not played in the Fire King version, and that's what's most played in Master Duel right now. So I would love to see a bit more competition between the purer Snake Eye version and the Fire King version.
And Emre, your thoughts as well?
Yeah, so Snake Eyes kind of fell off the radar a bit since Fire King got a bit stronger recently. I can imagine this card making Snake Eyes more viable. Maybe it can compete with Fire Kings again. Other than that, I think Ben said everything. It plays better into... you can play better around Nibiru, since the way Snake Eye always used to summon cards from the spell trap zone was with either Flamberge or the field spell. And now you have another way to summon from the spell trap zone that is not the field spell. So you can place a card from your graveyard into the spell trap zone, for example a Flamberge, which is always strong on the board, to summon the Diabellstar. If you get Nibiru, for example, you can then summon the Flamberge of the field spell, which is also a way to extend through Nibiru, which is something I really like.
Well, Emre, thank you very much for joining us on the show once again. And Ben K, thank you so much for coming and joining us for your first time on the show. It's been such a pleasure to have you guys here chatting about Gears of the Light with us. But we have one more little thing that we can show off from our two guests. We have ourselves a little bit of an exhibition match between Emre and Ben K.
Hello guys, I'm back again with Ben from Rogue Rulers. Today we're playing a show game against each other. I think you're going to see Ben's POV, so you're not going to see my opening hand. So you'll know what Ben is playing, but you won't know what I'm playing. How's your hand looking, Ben?
It's a bit weird, but I think it plays, at least. It's definitely not the standard opening. But we'll see.
Okay, that seems interesting.
We'll see how far we get. I think we'll do this.
You know what? That should be fine.
Yep, I figured. Now, how about this one? Okay.
That's also fine. No maxi for me.
That is quite fortunate. I think we will summon Lara here. And then I'm gonna go for the old beloved Altai Kenahawk, #1. I will go Kenahawk, target both Laras, I think.
That's fine. I mean, if I Imperma Veiler here, you'll just tag out.
Yep.
So
Exactly. It's super hard to interact with the fusion.
also don't Veiler or Imperm the Elder.
Yep.
The effect will still apply.
Yes.
That's a mistake that I see a lot on ladder, that people just Veiler the Elder, thinking that you don't get the additional normal summon. But in reality, you do.
Yes. Because it's an unclassified effect that applies immediately. It doesn't go on a chain.
Yeah, true.
So I think I'm grabbing Kenahawk.
That's fine.
Ritual Beast is super cool. There's so many people that are like super dedicated to this deck because it's not very easy to play, and you can really express yourself as a player, I feel, if you're able to go this in depth on a deck.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many lines, right, that you can make, and like every combination is a different line. And when you have Shifter on your own, like then the lines again change.
Yep.
So it's a super complicated deck, but it rewards the player for playing well.
Exactly. I think that's the good side of combo decks, right? If you have a combo deck that rewards you as a player for just being very good with your deck, I feel like that shows that the deck is in a good spot, is like somewhat well designed, right?
Yeah, I agree.
We'll target these two, and then because we have not special summoned the Kenahawk or the Winda yet, I will special summon both of them back. We only normaled the Kenahawk because the Apelio in the beginning was an extra normal summon by the Spiritual Beast Lara. It's always good to keep track of which of the monsters you have special summoned in the Ritual Beast deck, because only every single one of the main deck monsters can only be special summoned once per turn. So you really have to try and keep track of that.
That also confused me sometimes. Like whenever I see like a Kenahawk on the board, like it can sometimes be normal summoned twice, and then special summoned once. So it gets on the field 3 times, but you kind of lose track on it. So you always have to like be aware on what your opponent already special summoned and what he didn't.
Exactly.
To know where you can interrupt.
Yep. We get another normal summon with Altai came on Falcos, the Link monster. It came out a while ago, actually, in the TCG.
I thought it's a new card.
The Link 2 is actually not a new card. I think it came out around this like 2019, 2020. If I remember
been a while.
correctly. Yes. It was a secret support wave. Yep. And then, okay. This is a spot that you kind of always looking for. You want the Link 2 on top and then 2 level 4s. So you can overlay into a rank 4 play. Let's see. What are we sending here? Do I even have an... Oh yeah, I do have a name left. I have Elder left that I haven't summoned yet. And... I I think it's the only one that I haven't summoned yet. So I will first overlay into a rank 4 with these 2 level 4s. It's Infernal Flame Banshee. Has multiple uses because it searches any pyro monster. It's a bit like in the kind of theme of, I think, Gallant Grey Knight searches rock monsters, and then there's King of the Feral Imps, which is I think one of the first ones that search reptiles. I don't know if there's any more.
King of the Feral Imps pretty old, like at least 10 years, I believe.
Yes, I think that was the first one. But
I will Veiler it actually.
yes, it's a very dangerous card because it doesn't search ritual beasts. It's kind of bridges into the other engine, but I have the Cold Fire. So I definitely want to resolve this.
Yeah, so I mean, of course I care about what the Ritual Beast deck does, but my hand can play around the Ritual Beast part. But it's going to be tough to play around the part that's coming up now.
Yep. Then I will try to Contact Fuse from my graveyard, I think, using Elder and Rampangu into one of the new fusions, Multi-Notch Drago. I think these kind of Contact Fuse cards are really cool. We've seen some of them designed lately with Phantom of Yugal and the Visas card, what's it called? Astrolaut?
Yeah, Astrolaut, yeah.
Yeah, I think that those are really cool.
It's a strong summoning condition, like you basically get it for free. If it's once per turn, I think it's fine.
Yep.
If it's multiple times per turn, it gets a bit problematic.
Fair, fair. Okay, so I'm gonna have to speed up a bit here. Running low on time. I'll banish 3 for Protoss, actually hard to read.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then because... And then you get to decide whether you want to call Dark or Fire most of the time. I also drew the corridor. And I think in this case, because I have a lot of interruption against most decks, I will just call Fire, because the only thing I'm really scared of here is a heavy board breaker deck, which could be Tenpai, because that's really popular right now. Oh, I know I didn't set up Steeds, but that's probably fine. I'm low on time. I think I should have, yeah, when I linked off the Wen, I could have went through another Kanahawk and got myself Steeds. That's okay. This board
my head is pretty interesting here.
This board is super strong still.
So I cannot search. I cannot tribute.
Yes.
Like I cannot special summon fire monsters.
Exactly.
And you have IP.
And I have IP, yes.
And you have IP. That's interesting. I will activate. Okay, this is tougher than I expected it to be. Surely there's a way for me to beat that board with my hand.
That sounds scary.
I'll use summoning. So it is Tenpai, who would have thought? It is Tenpai.
Okay, I think that's fine. That gets you Tenpai cards. I think my board is pretty good against the Tenpai cards. I'm more afraid of non-fire cards.
I will then Normal summon Genroku.
Sure.
I will link Genroku off actually. Since I can't use the effect anyway, right? Because of
Yep.
Protoss and the Link 4.
Sure.
I'll go for Striker Dragon.
Striker Ring is fine. That's a dark, yeah.
And then I'll go into Battle Phase.
That's okay. And then I will use Retiori, Vanishing Apelio, and Striker Dragon.
I will droplet that.
That
Well,
is-
I tried to bait out the IP with the summoning, but so I can just I won't use the summoning anymore, so I can just get rid of it.
Sure. I think that should be fine.
And then run over your IP.
Yep.
Okay, this is tough. Yeah, I mean, I can set one card and then I'll pass.
I survived the battle phase. That's the most important thing about the Tenpai matchup with basically any deck.
Yeah, I feel like if you survive one battle phase, I think you're winning the game.
Yep. I will Apelio banish the new Lara from my grave, getting rid of my protection, but if it's banished, I will be able to summon from the deck, which is quite nice here. Yes. Then I will summon not your Drago. And let's see. What am I able to do here? Oh, I blocked myself a bit. That was not very good. It's okay. I think I can still manage. Go Ultra Hawk to search.
Sure.
And then tag him out to summon. Summon Tamer. Oh, I didn't have another beast banished. Oh no. Now my search won't go through. Because I had to special summon both of the monsters that I targeted for the search.
I see. Yeah.
That was not very well played. It's okay. We'll just turn everything to attack, try to go battle. Hopefully it's not a Sangan Kaiman that set. But I suppose.
I mean, Kaiman would only work now if I had a Fire Dragon in hand. So I can special summon it.
You're right, because you're still under Colossus.
Yeah, I am, but you're not. It is a Kaiman set, but the last card in my hand is a summoning, so I can't use it.
I see.
Well, good games, Ben.
Good game. Protoss is a hell of a card.
That's true.
Yep.
Alright, guys, that was the game. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll go to the next segment then. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much, Emre. We much appreciate both you and Ben K there, giving us an excellent exhibition duel. Now, Ibris, the show is not over yet because we've already gone through the selection packs, but now we got secret packs to talk about.
Yes, we do, and 2 secret packs coming out that both had some of the new cards actually added to them as well, which is very exciting. 2 of the big themes that we did mention getting support here. So the first pack we have to speak about does support the Medolce and the Nemleria, and that will be the Sugar Suffused Reverie secret pack. Ed?
Sugar Suffused Reverie. Now, this is a very nice one if people are into those archetypes, because we've talked about this on the show before, the Nemleria stuff, because that recently got added ooh, gosh, 2 or 3 shows ago, maybe more. Ibris, it all flies by at this point.
I think a little more, but
maybe more, yeah.
Even so, yeah, this pendulum strategy, of course, just controlling the field through constant removal. Similarly, you have the Madolche cards that do, again, have a lot of removal opportunities. Now that they have access to some quick speed disruption as well, just going to continue to add to that. And now the other pack that we have is Secret Pack Illusion Beasts Roar.
Illusion Beasts Roar. Now, tell us a little bit about what is involved in Illusion Beasts Roar, Ibris.
So these are primarily illusion monsters, if
There's
you
a
couldn't
shock.
tell. But the Illusion Beast himself, of course, being Chimera, gracing the cover there. And of course, that theme really lending a lot to the fusion summoning mechanic, while also offering a new type of monster to interact with.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys get your hands on those as well. The secret packs, Sugar Suffused Reverie and Illusion Beasts Roar. This is always nice to have these. But, Ibris, I'm afraid that brings us to the end of the show. But I think it's been a fun one. We've had some great guests and discussed some cracking cards, I'd say.
Yeah, it really has been. We got to see a lot of cool cards come out with that Geas of the Light selection pack, which is available now. We got to see the brand new accessories to support the 1,000 days. Of course, you see behind us the evil twins that you can now get the accessories for, as well as those alternate artworks.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys are logging in, get your hands on all of those goodies. Thank you for 1,000 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. But that is going to be it for this week's show. So we will see you guys next month for this month in Master Duel.